Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to be reviewing something that's a bit more accessible and available to most of you that my previous two videos weren't because they were looking at very modern technology in the lab. So today I thought I'd do something that's a bit more widespread with the Brita water filter. So let's see how this thing works. So before I explain to you how this water filter works, let me just show you what its part is in this system. There's just two pieces. You got the small little blue filter and you got the big old pitcher. And this pitcher, even though it's really big, all it does is hold the water that this thing filters. So basically it's just a very easy fit. It fits in a small cylinder hole and you just pour the water into this chamber and the small little blue guy does all the work. So let me show you how this works. So this little guy is actually broken up into three different levels of filtering. On the top part, you have like a mesh screen, which is mainly for filtering out the big particles or the big impurities. And for the medium size, you have an activated carbon layer kind of in the middle here. And on the bottom part, you have something called an ion exchange resin, which kind of gets the more charged particles and the smaller stuff filtered out. So I can break down how each one works, and then we'll get into taking this thing apart. So the mesh screen is first up, and again, it's pretty simple. It just removes big chunks and big sediments in the liquid and traps them while letting all the smaller particles and smaller liquid fall through. So it's kind of like when you're looking for gold and you have like a pan and you shake it around and the nuggets will stay on the top while everything else kind of falls through. So that's just the mesh screen, the simplest filtering mechanism to get rid of all the big parts in the water. So the next layer we have is the activated carbon layer, or also called activated charcoal. And just a little fun fact, for this Brita filter, the carbon that is used is actually coconut based. So that's just kind of something a little wild, but a little fun fact. But back to the carbon layer, it's called an activated carbon region, and what it's known to do is it adsorbs it very well. Not absorbs, but adsorbs, meaning that it has a surface which a lot of chemicals passing through bind to very easily. And because of this, it's able to grab onto a lot of these impurities and keep them from passing through the filter. So it's very good at sticking to stuff that isn't supposed to be there and keeping it from going through the rest of the filter. More specifically, the carbon filter, the activated carbon, is very good for removing organic compounds such as benzene, pesticides, chlorine. And so a lot of these harmful chemicals are removed in this phase of the filter. And furthermore, like this layer of the filter is what makes your water taste good. It takes out all the nasty chemicals that may make it taste bad, and it gives you that very pure watery taste, which just tastes like water. I don't know what else to say, but this is kind of like the center of the filtering process right here, getting rid of all the harmful chemicals from whatever source you may get your water from, just by using a sticky carbon, simply put. So yeah. So the final and arguably most complex layer of the Brita filter is the ion exchange resin layer. And this layer specializes in removing minerals from the water. And having minerals in the water leads to hard water, which is still disputed whether it's good or bad for your health, but this layer of the filtering just exists to remove minerals, most notably calcium and magnesium. And the way it removes these minerals is that you have these things called resin, which are kind of like beads stacked on either side of the filter. And these beads have like a specific trait, like it's either negatively charged or it has a certain tag to bind to a certain chemical compound. And once you pour the water through and there's all these impurities that you want to get out, it'll bind to the impurities that pass through and prevent them from going with the water that you want to purify. So these, minerals such as magnesium and calcium will bind to the beads, the resin, and it'll take them out of the water. And the way that this resin works is, in this case, is that it is negatively charged, and it binds to positively charged minerals such as calcium and magnesium. And basically, just by using electrostatic charges, it can purify the water in the final stage so it's ready to drink. Alright, let's open this bad boy up. Alright, now that I've cut up the filter into 1, 2, 3 pieces, let's break them down and zoom in on what is really inside them. So this is just the top part of the filter. Pretty simple. It just lets the water come in through these 3 little holes, and then it goes into this big middle part of the filter right here. So on the top part, doesn't look like there's too much, but as soon as you turn it around, here's the main part of the filter. So if I can get a good angle, you can see the mesh on the inside part. This is the first part of the filter that the water interacts with. You see how it's kind of like a grayish pattern on the inside, most inside of the filter, right? So that's the mesh. And then this black part. So this is going to be the charcoal and the resin beads. I wish I could show you the resin beads, but they are microscopic and cannot be seen with just the normal human eye. If only I had my electron microscope. But we ball. But as you can see, this black substance here is charcoal, and you can see it coming off on my finger here. It's very flaky, but this is what a lot of the impurities, a lot of these organic compounds like other chemicals that might be in the water you pour, that's what they bind to, this charcoal, this fuzzy stuff right here. You see? Like, well into here, this charcoal. Scattered throughout the matrix is also these resin beads, and this is the last part of the filter. As you can see, look, you can see the mesh pretty nicely, right? And it's just more of the same of what was in the previous column. You see how it's kind of like this charcoal is folded like an accordion almost, but this is what flanks the outside of the mesh, and this is what purifies the water of all the impurities, the chemical impurities. And then the resin is also scattered throughout here, and that's also what gets all these minerals and stuff out. So me sticking my hand in here, I'm just pretty much just dirtying my fingers with all these types of impurities, gross chemicals, and minerals that have been sitting in here for months. And yep, so my fingers are pretty dirty, but it was totally worth it to see what was inside this thing, because I've been using it for a long time now. So that's pretty much what goes inside the Brita water filter. I'm sure some of the other ones work a little bit differently, but hope you guys enjoyed. So that's going to do it for today. The main takeaways of this video are that the Brita water filter uses charcoal, ion exchange resin, and a mesh filter as their 3 main ways to filter water. And the other main takeaway is it gets super gross after a long time, so be sure to change your water filter so you don't start drinking gunk after 4 months of having the same filter. But hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you around.